Okay, Macy, I think we're live.
I think so.
Awesome. So I would like to welcome Macy from Analysis and Measurement Services, or maybe more commonly known as AMS. We're really excited to hear more about AMS today and your opportunities. And I'm going to ask Macy some predetermined questions today, but we would also love questions from the audience. So if you are watching this live, please feel free to put any questions that come to mind in the comments and we'll make sure to answer them. So
Very
we're
good.
going to get started. Are you ready, Macy?
Ready.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about AMS. What does your company do? Where are your locations? Give us all the details.
Yeah, sure. And first of all, thanks for having me. This is a kind of unique time, and I appreciate that you guys just have come up with ways to stay connected with students virtually as much as possible. So AMS, like you mentioned, stands for Analysis and Measurement Services. So we were founded in 1977 here in Knoxville. And we primarily service the nuclear fleet. So we perform instrumentation control systems testing, typically within nuclear facilities or nuclear power plants. So our main goal is to make sure that those plants are running optimally, safely, and I'm not sure how in depth you want me to go, but we have several different technical departments, both on the commercial end and research end. So we do a lot of electromagnetic compatibility testing and monitoring. So that's going to be of customer equipment, either here on site. We have various anechoic and semi-anechoic chambers to run that test, or cable systems testing. So we do a lot of monitoring of cable systems, either in nuclear power plants or other industries too. We're not necessarily limited just to nuclear power. We also perform a lot of research. So we do have a dedicated research department that focuses a lot on small business innovation research projects, or SBIRs. Typically going to be funded by an entity like Department of Energy or something similar, just with the type of work we do. But we have a lot of interesting research projects going on, usually simultaneously. So definitely recommend that students go on our main website, ams-corp.com. There's loads of information on different publications we have out, different types of equipment we have, different types of departmental projects. So that's a really good overview as well. We have currently 70 full-time employees, about 100 including contractors, foreign agents, reps, that kind of thing, as we do have a worldwide presence, although we only have offices here in Knoxville. So that's a good thing for local students here, in that we're definitely rooted here since the 70s.
Yeah, what a great opportunity to be involved in something global but still local.
Right? I tell people all the time, it's a really good way to have kind of your home base here in Knoxville, but also have an ability to travel. We service customers as far as Taiwan. There's several different continents that we have performed testing on or have just met up with specific customers. So yeah, it's definitely a good opportunity to have that kind of home base here. But
Awesome. Thank you for that overview. I think that was really helpful.
good.
So what kind of jobs and internship opportunities do our students have, and what do you have open right now?
Great question. And so right now we have only full-time opportunities. So that's something to keep in mind, but that doesn't mean that I don't like to get connected with students really early. There are some students I've spoken with since freshman year, and we've just kept in touch yearly, and then we finally hired them on. So right now we're focusing more on the technical side. So anything from software testers to software developers, electrical engineers, or various quality and research positions. In the future, we'll have some opportunities for some applications engineers as well, so more on the marketing and development side. So lots going on there. We also have more administrative type of positions, which have a ton of growth opportunity in a bunch of different areas. It could be anything from the business side or marketing, HR, but we're very kind of fluid with that process too, and that if someone has certain skills and abilities, we can kind of create a nice path for them.
Awesome. Awesome. So how do you apply for these? Are these just on your website, like you said before? Do you guys post on Handshake?
Yeah, all the above. So we're on Handshake. We do have a dedicated career site, so you can apply directly by going on ams-careers.com. That's also accessible from the main site, but students can also just email me directly. I'm definitely not opposed to that, especially if they have questions. In particular, if they're wondering about opportunities that might not be listed on the site or anything like that, they're never bothering me. I want you guys to reach out and ask questions about our company.
Awesome. Awesome. So tell me about what kind of experiences make candidates a good fit. Like, is there anything on a resume that may make a candidate stand out to you all?
Yes. So I would say, I mean, just generally, a general answer is that any type of hands-on internship or co-op experience, since what we do is really unique, a lot of the times we're just very set on doing a lot of training pretty much right out the gate. So we don't expect anyone to have the exact skill set that would be a very unique type of person. So I would say in general, in your labs on the engineering side and technical side, just having that handheld test tool skill, working with any kind of data acquisition or just analysis of any kind of data, even if it's through Excel sheets, anything like that. Doing any type of hands-on software testing or developing is important. And just in general, having strong writing skills. So being a part of any kind of research class where you're writing faux proposals or grants or just any technical review or literature review is good too.
Yeah, that's great advice because I think one of the biggest things that I hear from some of our engineers is like English isn't my favorite subject, or I'm not a huge writer, and so maybe actually gaining some of that experience will be helpful to them in the future.
Yeah, and I think for people like that too, I mean, I feel like that's pretty common, but if the content is something they're interested in, it'll be way easier to get involved and just immerse yourself in it. Another thing too, a lot of students tell me that they've taken off job experience because they feel like it wasn't relevant to their field. I encourage students sometimes to just include their job experience, even if it is retail, customer service, whatever that looks like, because those skills are actually relevant.
Yeah.
We interface with customers all the time. You learn how to work on a team. You become very dependable with schedules. So, I mean, that is still important to list too. So I'd recommend that too.
Yeah, that's really great advice as well. I think we talk about transferable skills to our students all the time, but sometimes it is hard to think of how like a cashier position may relate to, being a data analysis or analyst.
Right.
So I totally understand that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about your company culture and why do you like working for AMS? And I'm going to preface this by just saying that we actually got some reviews from our students saying that your company culture was really cool. Like I had a presentation this morning and one of our students was like, "Oh, you're talking to AMS? Like I did a tour there and their company culture seems so awesome." So I just want to say that you got some good feedback from our students already.
Who was it? Just kidding. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Obviously, I've been here for I've almost 6 years. It'll be 6 years in January, and that was just coming right out of school. So I can definitely attest to culture being a reason that I am here. We are a very stable company, and that might be appealing to some and maybe not yet for others, but we've been around. This industry is stable with the kind of work that we're doing. So that's a big appealing feature, and just the people here. It's a very passionate group of people in any position that you find. They're willing to help, they're willing to train, they're willing to sit down and explain things to anyone, whether they're new or they've been here for 20 years. A big majority of our company have been here for 5+ years. So we even have engineers and administrative professionals that have been here for over 30 and still working here daily. So that definitely says something about the family feel. We care about people and their families and their growth, or just if they're going through a rough time, we want to help. I don't think you find that everywhere. Also, there's just an open door kind of feeling in that you don't have to necessarily schedule a meeting with a senior manager. You can just pop by, hop across the building, just kind of collaborate. And there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of just team collaboration. and your voice is heard here, especially if you have a great idea. Tell someone about it. Tell your supervisor about your idea, about different areas we can jump into, different projects, if they're feasible. And people are surprised how much movement that can be here. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I know you mentioned, jumping across the office to talk to somebody. So I think this kind of fits in perfectly with our next question. But what advice do you have for students who are job or internship searching during the COVID-19 pandemic? And maybe how has the pandemic affected the way that you all work?
Yeah, great question. And I've definitely tried to put myself in student shoes, just how this would feel right now in job searching and graduating. So just hang in there. This is a temporary situation. So know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but also there are companies out there that are either essential or non-essential, but still thriving. Like AMS, we have been very fortunate in that we've been able to still grow and add to our team. So I would say just stay positive where you can. Just on a kind of logistic level, I'd say stay very communicative with companies that you're interested in, especially in that a lot of people are communicating via message and email. Your online presence is pretty important right now, so make sure that's a good one. I would say that also just know that companies are understanding if you had an internship or a co-op lined up that maybe it didn't pan out. That's not something that was, that's something that a lot of people have gone through. So companies are understanding. Yeah, I'd say that's some advice I could provide. And
Awesome.
as far as how it affected us as a business, as I said, luckily, being in this type of industry and doing the work we're doing, we've just kept going. We've had to put in a lot of safety protocols, which is really important to us. So we've made sure to do a lot of that and developed a COVID team, which I'm a part of. So yeah, it's been interesting, but something that we still find really important. And I'm happy to answer more detailed questions about that if any students do have questions about how we handled COVID or anything like that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Then finally, this is my last predetermined question, but why do you like hiring UT students?
Yeah, that's a great question. And generally, so us being in Knoxville, we're very rooted in this particular community. We've developed a lot of just friendships and long-term relationships with the university, which has really helped just meet students early on and stay communicative with them. But we have 28 UT grads currently working at AMS. So almost a third of our whole workforce, including myself. I did graduate from UT, as well as our president. He got his PhD at UT, which essentially started the entire company based off that particular work. So I think too, just new graduates from UT have different insight that maybe the company doesn't have. It's nice to get some fresh perspective in and to get really excited students that are ready to get their career started. And AMS is a really good place to do that. And we have worked a lot with just new grads and getting them their first full-time job.
Awesome. Well, that is the rest of the questions that I have predetermined. I do not see any comments on Facebook Live. So is there anything that we didn't mention today that Macy, you want to make sure that you plug or say, or?
Yeah, just know that I'm always here as a resource for students. If you're wondering about any of the particulars I talked about today, I'm happy to hop on a phone call or even do a video call like this just to go over it and make sure that you know what we do, especially on the technical end. We just kind of skim the surface a bit. It depends on your interest, but as far as on the administrative or technical paths, if you have questions about what that could look like for you, then again, happy to talk about it anytime.
Yeah, Macy, I actually had a question come to my mind when you were just talking. I know you talked a little bit before about students whose internships or co-ops weren't able to happen because of COVID. Do you recommend that they list those on their resume and just say like didn't complete because of COVID, or do you think they should just leave it off altogether and maybe mention it in a cover letter or something like that?
That's a great question, and something I've actually asked myself in reviewing recent resumes. I would probably say, since it wasn't an actual opportunity, to list it as either not under work experience or put it in a cover letter.
Okay.
You'd be surprised too how many people do not submit cover letters. And I think this can be extremely valuable just to give a personal insight as to why you're looking at that particular company instead of just a one-line objective. So I guess that's another piece of advice. I did some resume critiquing at UT a few times. So again, if any students watching this want me to look over the resume, I'm actually happy to do that too.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Macy. And again, can you give us your any contact information that you're comfortable giving?
Yeah, sure. And I'm the human resources manager here at AMS. So my phone number can be found if you just dial the directory, or you can reach me directly at 865-691-1756 extension 163. And my email is my first name, MACI, at ams-corp.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Macy. I really, really appreciate your
Thanks,
time here.
Katie.
I think our students are going to get a lot out of this. I know if they don't watch it live, we do get a lot of views afterwards too. So hopefully a lot of our students will get some good nuggets.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I hope this gave a good insight, at least an overview of what AMS is all about, and that we're super excited to just continue adding to our team.
Awesome. Well, we hope you have a good day and thanks again.
Yeah, you too, Katie. I appreciate
Bye.
it.
Bye.
Bye.